Good morning, everyone. I'm Amy, and this is Harpy Stitch, my corner of the internet, all about cross stitch. Welcome to Flosstube number 66. I hope you've had a good almost a month now. Been really busy. We're supposed to film last weekend, but I just had too much going on, and I didn't. So here we are this weekend. It is July 26th. Yes, if I remember the date. Yes, I did. So if you are new, welcome. I know I've gotten a few new subscribers. Thank you for joining me and checking out my channel. I would love it if you told me how you found out about me. If you are returning, welcome back. I'm so glad to see you again. Excuse me. It has been super hot here the last couple of days. We are under another heat advisory for yesterday and today. I'm having to plan. I wanted to go thrifting yesterday, go to like Goodwill and Savers and a couple of thrift shops, but it was too dang hot to go outside. It is still summer for me from school. I've gotten some work done, a couple more subsections done on my portfolio. We went out, was it Thursday or Friday? Part of my portfolio is I have to create a science experiment. So we literally went out and dug for rocks and soil and stuff. And we had to find like out of the way places on the side of the road because you can't collect samples in national parks without a specific license. You're not supposed to go on people's personal property. So I had Gemini help me figure out, because my research project's on glacial lobes and the glacial history of Minnesota. So I had AI help me find out locations near me where I could get samples from these different lobes, because they deposit different kinds of rocks. And so, yeah, and I know a lot of people hate AI, but I don't know how to find that out. So it had it help me, and I was like, okay, so how do I know I'm in the right spot? You know, what kind of rocks will I see at this location? And it helped me find that and gave me descriptions, so we knew we were getting the right kind of samples. I have to do some testing to verify the types of rocks I found in the sample. So we spent several hours driving around looking for good spots that were safe to pull off to the side of the road and dig up some dirt to run my science experiment that I had to design. Yeah, it was an interesting day, but it wasn't too hot that day. That's one reason we chose to do it that day. We weren't looking at the forecast like, no, we need to do it these days where it's not too hot. So that was a couple of hours in the car. Got to see a deer and all sorts of stuff with that. So that's what's been keeping me mostly busy. I've still got a lot of stitches in. They're not as many as I usually do during the summer because I'm having to work on that portfolio. But that means next week I should have the research section completely done. And there's a few sections I need to work out. I have to show that I can teach reading skills in my subject area, but I'm making good progress. So, yay! I have to get it done by early September, so I'm hoping to get it done before we start back for professional development for the school year. But that might not happen. And the reading stuff, I think I have, my cat is rubbing his face on one of my plastic project bags. I think I have a reading training coming up in August. I think that's what that PD day is for, our new training for the new expectations of the district on how to teach reading in our content areas. So I might hold off on that part until we do that PD. I did have a virtual PD about Hawaii, and that was from Hawaii, that was free, that I found. I wasn't able to do it live, but they're going to share all the videos, and I will probably watch some of that this next week if they have the videos up. I was going to do that Friday. Oh, we went out Thursday because Friday I was going to watch the Hawaii PD stuff while I did prepped the samples I got, because you're supposed to dry them out, and there's a whole thing for the thing I'm supposed to do. But That didn't work because the videos weren't up yet. So I'll do that sometime. Other things I want to talk about. Mostly my life has been my professional development portfolio. I am still going to be doing NAMI Walks, which is a fundraiser for NAMI, the National Association of Mental Illness. They offer free support groups, training. They help people find mental health resources. In fact, I did find out recently that there is a virtual support group for caregivers here in the St. Cloud area of people with mental illnesses, and I'm thinking of attending. So I have to figure out how I can fit that into my schedule. And I had frogwarts while I've been gone. I did not compete this year. The Slytherin Forbidden Forest won first place. Gryffindor Forbidden Forest won first place. Slytherin Common Room won second, and Hufflepuff Common Room won third. So that was pretty cool. I was in Hogsmeade, so I just hung out, and I really had a great time. I spent the weekend mostly with Liz of Stitched by Liz, Erin, the hiking stitcher here on YouTube, Lisa from Paddock Lane Designs. Who else? Kat from Cat Can Sew. I got to hang out with her and get to know her a little bit. Kate from Fickle Stitches, also known as the Stitchy Aardvark on Instagram, and Sarah from Threads and Tales with Sarah. And Sarah does all the things on Instagram. I think there's a few people whose Instagrams I left off, but that's okay. If you have not checked out Sarah's YouTube channel, you should. She's got a newer Flosstube, and she is awesome. All right, let's see. What else do I have on my list? Oh, I attended my first Poltergeist Pirates video chat. It was really fun. Erica and Kevin were there, and other people were there. I didn't really know them. Oh, back up to Frogwarts for a minute. Sue, who is ssdesigner3 on Instagram, hung out with us a lot too during Frogwarts, and she was awesome. Let's see. Yes, and I had fun at the Poltergeist Pirates. I was going to go to the previous one last month, and then my husband and I ended up going for a walk instead because it was a beautiful day. And I thought that was more important. Let's see. Just talked about that. And I finally have my June totals for you. So in June, I did 20,392.5 stitches. So that was my last month or so. It's been partly relaxing summer. I've got about one more month. We go back officially like the last week of August. I'll be in professional development that week and workshops and everything. They are redoing all the bathrooms, all but one set of bathrooms in my high school. So right now I can't go in there for any reason. It's a hard hat area. They are changing it to individual bathrooms rather than the group bathrooms to deal with some issues that we were having of kids, meeting in the bathroom, having fight clubs in the bathroom, smoking pot in the bathroom. Yeah, there would be like 30 boys in the bathroom, and there was no way anybody could go to the bathroom because there was too many boys in there. So we are switching to single-use, gender-neutral bathrooms like the other high school has. So one-person occupant bathrooms. It'll be really nice, and it should decrease stress of the adults in the hallways. Also make it harder for kids to hide in the bathrooms. Hopefully. All right. Well, that's real life stuff. Let's get to stitching. So I almost had a bingo board, a full house, whatever you want to call it. I have an FFO. I have finishes. I have whips. And I really wanted to start a new project yesterday. There's a specific one I wanted to start so I would have the whole spectrum for you. But I didn't have the right size fabric. And Michaels doesn't carry the right size fabric. Because I looked. I wasn't going to go out unless they had it. Hi, buddy. Are you going to come yell at me? Oh, cattail. So I didn't get to start that. That will be my next new start. So let me show you my FFO. So this is the Crazy Quilt Teddy Bear by Margaret G. Cole. This is from a magazine. This is my first stuffy I've ever made. I've made a few little pillows, but first stuffed animal. This is a gift for a coworker. And I think I needed to trim a little bit better, but that's okay. It will be well loved by a kiddo and it will be fine. I learned how to do a ladder stitch to close up my seam. Much better than the last time I tried to do something like that. So I'll have to keep that in mind for when I'm mending seams on things. All right, this is my little friend. I don't know, I'm not giving him a name because the child it's a gift for, when they're old enough, it is their job to give it a name. I'm not even going to pick its gender because it's not, the kid will do that. So my coworker likes teals and greens, so I found this fabric at Michael's to back him with. He's kind of got a little cowboy butt, but that's all right. He'll, it's just the polyfill, so it's polyester filled. I did put some interfacing back here so the stuffing wouldn't come out, but as he's played with and loved and washed, he will relax a little bit, and I wanted to stuff him really full so he wouldn't have too much, so, or he wouldn't get weird spots where like there was no stuffing. So that is him. I started stitching him, when was it? On June 3rd, and I finished him on July 17th, or July 15th, and I stuffed him yesterday. It is just a 14 count Ada from DMC. It's the blue and green colored one to give it a little bit more life. And I did it 2/1. He was supposed to be brown, but I subbed out like 3812. I subbed in 3812, 3844, 909, and 597. So instead of having a brown muzzle and ears and outline, and then I changed a couple of the colors in here to make them more tealy green colors. So that is my FFO for you this week. And I'm going to put him over here, and then I have to put him up somewhere so the kitty cat can't get him. He knocked him off the table yesterday after I was cleaning up some other stuff. All right, so I also have 4 other finishes for you. So first is my Banner of Benevolence, which I did a Banner of Benevolence salve for. This is by Silver Creek Samplings. This was my patriotic stitch, which I am not usually a patriotic stitcher, but the message on this is so wonderful. It is on all the called for. It is on 18 count Old Gold by Fiber on a Whim. I started this May 3rd and finished it July 4th. Actually, I think that was like May 31st or something, because I did it right after my last Flosstube in May. If you would like to join in, even though it's past the 4th, you may. I'm going to zoom in here. It is done with Gentle Arts, Old Mustard Seed for the Stars, then you have Old Red Paint, Oatmeal, and Uniform Blue for the colors. Sloan Stitches picked some darker, deeper, or I shouldn't say darker, I should say deeper reds and blues for this than I did, and I really love hers. And Sarah is from Sarah Threads and Tails with Sarah is doing it, but she's going to be leaving off the stars. This is what I wish for our country, and what I did is I did everything but love, and that was the last thing I put in, because I think love is the most important. I have no idea how I'm going to finish this. Jason X Stitches also joined me in the benevolence sal, but he's doing his without the stars and like doing rainbow colors. I gotta take another look at his to see where he's at with it, but I think I know the end's cut off, but I think it is beautiful. I think that my piece of Old Gold is darker than the model stitch, and I think my red and my blue are lighter than the ones in the model stitch, but that's okay. Part of me wants to make it into a pillow, but it's all hand dyed, and I'm afraid that it will get dirty, and then it will be difficult to wash. So I am not sure what to do with this, because I am not a patriotic stitcher as a rule. The message of this was just too perfect. And I do have enough fabric that I could do other little projects on. I think that's one reason I'm thinking of doing a pillow, because then I can cut the margins a little closer and I'll have more fabric to do something else, because I really do think that this gold is pretty. All right, next one is Puppy Came Back by Haunted Frames. I started this on May 23rd, 2025 as part of my Year of 50 Starts, and I finished it on July 17th. And this is just a piece of fabric that I practiced hand dyed it by myself. It is 25 count. I think it might have changed a little bit. This is going to be a memorial piece. This is a memorial piece for our dog Jester, who we had to put down last year. It will go to my child, and we'll put one of his actual paw prints and a little bit of his ashes in with it. I gotta find a container for the ashes, and I think I'm gonna do it in a shadow box and then do some sort of display with the paw print and this. I am trying to decide if I want to put his name down here or if I want to do his name in a different way. This is the dog we had most of her life. He was 13 or 14. He was like 14. But I think these are really cute. We like zombies, and I can't do. Okay, thank you for coming back from yellow. I appreciate that. So I had like 5 finishes this month, and I think I'm up to 9 finishes for the year, and I think I'm gonna have another finish this month. I'm hoping so. All right, next is Kitty Came Back by Haunted Frames. This is for a memorial piece for my daughter's cat Fusa, who was rehomed with us when a friend moved to Canada and they couldn't pay all the fees. I'm also debating about whether to put the name of the cat at the bottom or do it separately. But I will finish this the same way I finished that. I will have to get with her husband to get the stuff for the cat, because obviously that's with her, not with us. But also super cute. So with both of these, I think I started them 2/1. And then when I picked them back up, I started doing it 1/1. I don't think you can tell. This one, I think there's a couple of spots in the paw that's a little more obvious when you're close up. But I kind of went back and forth, like I couldn't make up my mind, but it looks fine. This is just the other half of the hand dyed that I did. And so I just have to mount those. So last finish. This is my commission piece that I do repeatedly, and I will start another one of these soon. I ironed it, but I need to iron it again. This is the Shawshank Redemption sampler by SS Prop Designs. He commissions me to stitch these for him when people order them. This is the sampler that is hanging in the back of the warden's office in the movie. It is a fake Bible verse. So I've done approximately 26 of these, and I will be starting another one shortly. I'm going to give myself a week or two to take a break, but he tends to get orders for these around the holidays, so I got to this is the only one I have ready. All right, I'm going to take a quick drink. Apologize. Between finishes and whips seems a good place. All right, so next are the whips that I've worked on since I saw you last. So I did not follow any challenges for Frogwords. I did kind of a swee-wee thing. I've been working on Fandom Scavenger Hunt. They had an event for finishing things in July, so I focused on that this month a lot to finish up some projects to get some points that way. Plus, I need to whip down a bit, which I've done. So, first whip I have for you is Storybook Halloween by Stitchonomy. This was from 2021. One of my first freebie sals that I grabbed. I started this on July 5th, July 5th, 2023. It is on 14 count oatmeal Ada. I have actually made quite a bit of progress. I got all the way down here. I got a bunch of this in. I have filled in much of Beetlejuice. I am doing the frame in black étoile, which I know you won't be able to see the sparkly because it never films right. But I was getting to where I was like, oh, I want to go down here and here. And I was like, oh, let me go check my folder where I have it in my email. Somehow some of them got deleted. So I only had like 4 more. And so I had to go buy the whole pattern because I lost some of my, releases. I accidentally deleted them somehow and I'm not sure how. So I just bought the pattern because now it's for sale. And the nice thing is I can never remember which video or which movies and stuff this is. So now I have a list. So I will know which one is which. Although the order that they did them in is weird, so I'll have to. But there we go. That is where I am at. I thought maybe I would just finish this one up, but I think it's a little too much time to finish it this July. I'm doing it 2/1 and it's a total of 19 colors. So in the pattern that I bought over here, they did the background stuff like they did behind the creatures. You can leave that out. I don't know if I'm going to do that yet. I haven't decided, but I've made some good progress on that. Next is Frogwarts. So this was the last year of the online Frogwarts. Next year they're doing an in-person Frogwarts retreat, and their Black Needle Society camp thing will be online. But here's all 7 years together, and I am doing them together. I kind of worked on just whatever I wanted. I did do a little bit of work on this during Frogwarts. So there's part of it. Year 2 I worked on. I got some more of the basilisk in, and I worked on the Chomping Willow there. Let's see, did I work on, no, I didn't do anything on 3 or 4. But I did get started on year 7. That is Hermione's bag of holding. I know it's not called a bag of holding, but in D&D that would be a bag of holding. And then here is the Patronus. That is the only motif that I finished. I had done these earlier, but I pulled them out and then put them back in to have sparkly thread. So that is my progress on Frogwarts. My goal is to finish this by next summer. Let's see if I can make it go. Do I have magic hands today? I do! I do not have a professional setup. I'm sitting in my stitchy spot on my little love seat here. My husband's ring light I moved from the other room. I've got my blinds open on this side to give some natural light, but it's really far away and the sun's not coming in directly. I've got my little dinette light over there on. I've turned off my stitchy spotlight. I've got my lights back there on. And the trick is getting it the right light amount and not having you not be able to see my eyeballs, which a lot of times I don't worry about because I have glasses. So I guess if I go like this and give myself a really big double chin, I don't have, but I have the ring light kind of angled up towards the ceiling and lifted up, so there's less of a glare in my glasses. Experimentation with lighting is so fun. All right, next is the Cutesy Friends Sal by Creatively Crafting. This is they do a Cutesy Friends Sal with a different theme every year, I think. And this was from a couple of years ago. I'm a child of the 80s, and I love Care Bears. I cannot remember all their names right now. I don't know why. But this is where I am at. Last time I showed it, I had finished Grumpy Bear, except for I had forgot to put in the French knots to make the highlights in his eyes. I did that first thing. This is a piece of fabric ice dyed by me. It felt very 1980s with all the splotchy colors like that. And then I worked on this, I think is Funshine Bear down here. So I got a good amount of him done. I thought about trying to get this finished for July, but another project took it over. So that's what I'm working on. This is, I started this on April 2nd, 2025. This is 32 count. There are 10 colors, and I'm doing it 2/2. So that is my cutesy friends. There is an expanded, some other Care Bears that you can purchase separate from this. She said they will, because I was like, I feel like I'm missing some. But no, there's just supposed to be the 6 bears with the original design. The expanded ones were, you had to pay. And I actually thought about it, but I don't know if they will fit on this fabric and leave me any kind of margin for finishing. So I will probably just do this. I wonder if she'll do one with the Care Bear cousins. That would be fun. But yes. All right. Let's see. Next. No, not my last whip. My next to last whip for you. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes over here. Oh no, not next to last whip. I have 4 more whips for you. Next is Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. So many people are working on this, and there are different stages. I just found a Flosstuber new to me who's in this block and has all of this done, and I am kind of envious. So this is by Carriage House Samplings. I started this on May 26, 2025. I am doing it on 40 count Inca by Fox and Rabbit, and I'm doing it 1/1. And since you saw it last, unless you're following me on Instagram, I have finished the first block. I had to mess with the webs a little bit after I took it out of the hoop because they were looser than I expected, so I had to kind of mess with that to get them tight enough where they wouldn't snag. But there is my first block, and look, I got one edge of the border in and the beginnings of the second block. And this gorgeous fabric, oh, it's actually showing pretty true. It's slightly more buttery golden than that, but you can see the pinks and the peaches a bit. So I finished the first block of Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. I am so excited. I cannot wait to get up and put it on my wall. But that could be for many things. All right, so next is Evening in the Shire by Maria Brovko, or Cute Patterns by Maria. This is just a black and white printout. You can't really see, there's a moon up here. It's hard to see on this copy, but I didn't have color ink at the time when I printed this out. So this one is what has been taking my attention lately. I love this. When did I start this? I gotta turn to the right page because I am terrible with dates. I started this on April 12th. I started this in 2025, not 2026. I think I did start this in 2025, not 2026. This was my Damn the Man Sal for my birthday. This is on 28 count Malachite by Fiber on the Whim. There are only 6 colors. I have done all of the tent stitch and full crosses, so now it's just the back it's just the back stitch to finish the design. So let me zoom in here. I picked this because I think it kind of looks like that greenish tent you get in the evening sometimes if you're in the country. So in addition to finishing all the back stitch, or all the tent stitches, I finished up the back stitch up here in this little tree, and I've gotten some more here to define the top of the house and a little bit further into the bricks here. So all I have left on this is 310, and the back stitch is either 1, 2, or 3 strands, depending to get the different thicknesses. So I have to count very carefully. But I think I might be able to finish this month if I focus on it next week. This will probably be my last finish of July, because I'm so close. It does take a little thought to do it well, and make sure everything's in the right spot. So I have to take my time. So but I think this is my goal is to finish this. Ironically, this is the project that got called for one of my whip goes in August. So now, if I finish this month, I have to replace it for my whip go. And I think, sorry, I'm changing my seating position a little bit. My hips are mad at me. I think I am going to replace it with either my round robin or my next whip. The next whip has a little bit more of a deadline, but I love this one so much. So my next whip is one of my newer projects. This is another baby gift for a coworker, because I had 2 coworkers that are expecting, or actually, yes, both are expecting. This coworker's baby is being carried by her spouse and is actually due this summer. So this is what it will look like when it's done. This is Butterfly Silhouette, or Moment of Fun, by Perry Abdel Hadi. So yeah, let's see where I got to. I am going to be working on this a little bit today because it fit one of the weekly prompts. And this is where I am at. This is so stiff. I started this on June 3rd of this year. It is 28 count even weave white. There are 36 colors and I'm doing it 2/2. So her dress, part of her leg, part of her, and I went down and started some of the flowers below her. So I need to get this finished because my coworker is going to go on leave the second trimester of the school year. Magic hands. No magic hands? I lost my magic. All right. And I keep the magazine in with it because my copy, well, one of the pages I forgot I had blue paper in there. And one of the, now I gotta find the right page. One of the pages is blue. And then sometimes when you're printing them, you know, when you're making a copy from the magazine, it's a little bit fuzzy. So I keep this in the magazine in there so that if I'm not sure what the symbol is or whatever, I can look at the magazine pattern and verify. I'm sorry, the darkness is... There we go. All right, this is the final whip. So this was one of my whip go calls. I still need to work on it at least one more day to finish my whip go, and then I will have another bingo. And this is What Lies Beneath by Charting Creations, art by Dakota Detweiler. Again, blue paper was in the thing when I printed it, and I'm like, I'm not reprinting and wasting ink. All right. Let's see. I started this on May 20th of 2025. It's on 32 count linen. There are 108 colors. I'm doing 1/1. Yeah, I know it looks so different. It's still in the blue. I put in about 400 stitches in it yesterday. So I filled in here a little bit and then added in this and fill it. I'm trying to fill it in because since it is 32 count 1/1, it is very tiny. And I don't want to miss any stitches because I'm trying, and I really want to go this way because I want to get to a tree. I want another color. These are beautiful blues, and there's a variety of blues, but I would like to start seeing the picture come in. But if I leave ninja stitches, I'm going to screw myself over. So that is where this one is at. I am at a whopping 0.7%. And I've done over 4,000 stitches. So yeah, that tiny bit, this tiny area is over 4,000 stitches. So it is going to be so pretty when it's done though. Oh my God, I can't wait. All right. That was my whips. Next is plans. I'm going to take another drink, sorry. ice stuck in my mouth. So I'm going to continue working on my pieces for the Fandom Scavenger Hunt, which is July and August. Like there's a backstitch prompt, so I'm going to use Evening in the Shire for that, and I will work on that after I do my last 2 weeklies. August Whip Go is supposed to be Evening in the Shire and Dragons of the Sabbat. As I said, I think I'm going to finish Evening in the Shire, and I'm either going to replace it with my round robin or the Moment of Fun butterfly piece. That is a baby gift. Feel free to give your opinion on which of those I should work on. It's Metal by Ink Circles is my round robin piece that I'm working on for one of the members of my... Are you going to come up here? If you're going to come bug me, you got to be in the video. This is Dwimmer, if you don't know. If you really want to see him get up to naughtiness, look at my 3rd Flosstube, Cat Crimes and Misdemeanors. I can't believe we've had you 3 years, you goofball. You going to come on? Okay. Well, at least you picked the part where I'm talking. And then I think if I finish Evening in the Shire, one of the things we can use for our finish challenge is Sal parts up to 5. And with doing Frogwarts and trying to get my finishes, I wanted to fully finish the stitching on some stuff. And so I pushed Museum After Midnight to the side. So if I finish Evening in the Shire, then whatever time I have left before the end of the month for finishing, I will work on Museum After Midnight. I need to do Exhibit 4, 5, 6, and 7, I think. So that are my plans. Oh, now he's laying on top of my notes because he's so helpful. Yes, I love you. You're sweet. Haul. I only have one piece of haul. That is my Just Cross Stitch Halloween. Now, the funny thing is that it was taking so long to get to me. I thought that my subscription had run out. It had not. So when I ordered the floss and stuff for Benevolence, I ordered a copy. So now I have 2 copies of Just Cross Stitch Halloween. Here it is. And there's some cute stuff in here, but there's only a few that really speak to me. So I love the Triceratops skeleton and the kitty reading. And I know lots of people have done flip throughs. I'm just going to show you my favorites. The little chihuahua, he cracks me up. I really like the raven here. And there's another one in here that I really kind of liked, but I won't consider doing it because the designer tends to just do AI generated patterns. And then, even though I'm not a fan of spiders, yes, I know you're stretching, you want me to touch your tummy. I really think this bejeweled spider is super cool. And it would be a new thing to learn. So, all right, so here is something I need your help with. This is future haul, and I need you guys' input. So I have given up Cokes. They are a major comfort food for me, but I am addicted to the flavor as well as the caffeine and the sugar. I have not had any Coke since Frogwarts. I finished up my last bit. Okay, are you gonna go attack something? All right, have fun. So the Sunday Frogwarts is the last one. Now I've had a ginger ale on occasion. I've had another kind of soda if I need some caffeine really, really bad because I don't like coffee. But I am trying to figure out a way to reward myself, like basically a way to spend some of the money I was spending on Cokes to prevent myself from going back to drinking them. Because when I get super stressed, that is what I want to drink. Not alcohol, a Coca-Cola. So I am thinking of joining a Fabric of the Month club to spend that money to prevent me from being able to slide back into the habit because I'm spending that money elsewhere. We did something similar when my husband was trying to give up something. He's like, okay, I'm going to take the money that I would have spent on this thing that I'm trying to break myself have, put it in something else that I want, and short circuit my brain so that, oh, well, I can't go back to that because then I'd have to give up this thing. So I'm trying to do something similar. So it needs to be a fabric club from the US with all the shipping and tariffs. I don't want to try to figure out if they're still shipping to the US or any of that. I have some ideas, but I'd really like you guys who have had Fabric of the Month clubs to tell me who your favorite is, why they're your favorite, the pros and cons of that particular service, to give me some ideas. I also am struggling with fabric count. What fabric count should I pick? I don't want Aida, not because I dislike Aida necessarily, but a lot of the pieces I tend to pick tend to have fractional stitches or, and it's just a pain in the butt to do that on Aida. I can do it on Aida, I also think it doesn't look quite as neat. I don't expect my stitching to be perfect. I like neat stitches, but if I have a few stitches that are a little off, I'm like, that just shows it's handmade. I don't want them super sloppy, but if there's a few not perfect, I'm not going to stress, because if it was totally perfect, that means a machine did it, not a person. So I know there's Bestitch Me and Fiber on a Whim and a whole bunch of different ones. So if you have any ideas, suggestions, I would probably want a club that offers me a mix option where I can get some neutrals and some bright, beautiful colors. If you have recommendations, I'm thinking 28 count Lugana or even weave, because then I can use it as a 14 count by doing it over 2. If you know of any that let you switch fabric sizes periodically easily, that would be great to know. I don't really need a ton more patterns. I have a ton of patterns. I have some digital ones. I have about 10 digital ones I haven't started. I have an entire huge bucket of patterns, plus another one that's partially full of magazines and patterns and stuff. So I don't need patterns. I have plenty of patterns to keep me busy. Not that that means I won't buy more when I see one that it strikes my fancy. But I have the Winter Folklore Sal that I saved all the parts for that I could start. But fabric would be nice to have. So I would really like your help with trying to figure out what would maybe be the best fabric club for me to pick. If they're one that builds in the middle of the month rather than the beginning of the month, that would be even better. But not necessary. So that is my future haul plans, and I would really like your help with figuring out what fabric club would maybe be the best for me. Again, US for postage purposes. I would love to do some of the other ones, but I just can't afford the postage on top of the fabric cost, right? So I need something like overseas. I could be paying $30 postage or whatever. So I need to focus on spending money on the fabric, not the postage. So that is where I'm at, and I would really appreciate some help with that. So giveaways. I'm going to do 2 giveaways. One is just Cross Stitch Halloween, since I accidentally got 2 copies, and I'm keeping the one that got damaged in my mailbox for myself. And you get the one that is in pristine condition. So if you are interested in this, please use the word Halloween. You must be 18, must be in the US, you need to be a subscriber. Do not use the words giveaway, etc. that will attract bots or trolls. And I am going to give you till August 9th, my expected recording date for 2 Flosstubes out. I realize I've been watching Flosstube every morning, and I am only up to the M's, and some people I've never seen on my subscription list, so I know it takes people a while to catch up. So I'm going to give you 2 Flosstubes. So August 9th is would be my next. Wait, no, that's not right. Just give me a second. Where's my calendar? There's my calendar. Okay, so July 26th today. No, August 23rd. August 23rd. Not 9th. That would be like 2 weeks. No. August 20. Yeah, because today's the 26th. 29th. The 9th would be 2 weeks. So the 23rd. August 23rd is when I will draw. See, I'm terrible with dates. I'm going to rewrite this. All right. So, August 23rd is your deadline. I will film that morning, so maybe I should say the evening of the 22nd. But I will be drawing names right before I film on August 23rd. So, if you are interested in just cross-stitch Halloween, Halloween is your keyword. And since I finished Banner of Benevolence, I thought I would pass the love and give away my pattern. I made a working copy, so it is not marked on at all. If you are interested in doing the Banner of Benevolence cell, keyword is benevolence. Same date, the 23rd, I will draw names. All right, so that is where we are at with that. I won't stitch this again, and I don't need 2 copies. So I thought I would pass them along. All right, shout outs. So as I said, I've been going through my Flosstube list, trying to go A through Z, because there's some people I watch all the time, but I have a lot of people I'm subscribed to because somebody mentioned them. I was like, oh, I should go check them out. Or I found them through Frogwarts or things like that. And then I never get around to watching them. And even with my summer being busy with my portfolio, I'm trying to go for walks most mornings, which I've been doing most mornings. And then I will watch a short Flosstube while I eat breakfast or whatever. Or I'll pause mid Flosstube. And then I will start working on my portfolio. So some people that I've been watching, most of these I've been subscribed to for a while. Several of them don't need, y'all know who they are, but I hadn't gotten around to watching them yet. I got up to the M's. I'm partway through the M's, so I'm like halfway through my list. First is Lindy Stitches. Surprisingly, I had not watched her before. I've been subscribed for a while. I like that she makes jokes. She's very friendly. She separates out her shop stuff, so if you aren't interested in seeing her new releases and you just want to see what she's stitching for fun, you can do that. I'd watched one of her regular Flosstubes, and then another video popped up, and I was like, huh, that's interesting. Why would this happen? So she listed 10 of her patterns that didn't sell well, and for her, were under 200 sales. And I'm like, I have a few patterns up on Etsy. I would love it if I got 50 sales on something. But I'm more of a hobbyist. Maybe if it makes me a tiny little bit extra, fine. And I'm a baby designer, right? I'm still figuring out how it all works, and messing around. And sometimes I'll get an idea and I'll just throw together a pattern, and that's probably not the best way to do it. But so it was a really interesting as a baby designer to see maybe what might cause something not to sell or whatever. And I know some of my patterns are not great. They're kind of basic, and that's okay. The only way I get better is to do it. And honestly, I haven't had time. I work 2 jobs. I'm working on this portfolio. The free time I get when I have free time, I want to be stitching or watching movies or, so I need to get some of this other stuff off of my plate before I can have the mental capacity to design. So another person that I've heard so often from so many Flosstuber is Katie's Jeremiah's mom, and I hadn't gotten around to watching her either. She's funny. She's very welcoming. She has a variety of projects. I've only watched like one video, but definitely enjoyed it. I also ran across Memphis Sarah E. Again, I had her on my thing for a while. I just haven't gotten around to watching. I did watch a short update video, and what she was working on was Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. And she is on the pumpkin patch one. She's the one I was thinking of when I said that. And it was amazing, and I really need to watch some more of her stuff. So those are my Flosstube shout-outs for people that I haven't really gotten around to watching, but have now gotten to watch. All right, what else? Okay, so that is all the stitchy stuff. If that is all you were interested in, I will see you in about 2 weeks, as long as something doesn't come up and I end up not being able to film. Now I'm going to talk about what I've been watching and reading. So it's been summer. We've gone to the movies a few times because there's some stuff coming out that we really wanted to see in theaters. I've been listening to audiobooks for the Fandom Challenge. Doing that a lot when I'm on my walks. I will put on my audiobook and walk, which gets me, depending on the length of the walk, I've been doing almost 3 miles walks, and it takes me, I'm not like speed walking or anything because my knee gets mad at me if I try. But my plantar fasciitis is better, so I might be able to try to run, but I'm not quite there yet. So I've been listening to audiobooks as I walk, and I do that when I'm doing my stocking job at Michael's in the morning before we open. So I've gotten some reading in. So let's look at what I've been reading and watching. So let's start with what I've been watching. My husband and I went to see the new He-Man movie. Oops. It was super fun. If you are a child of the 80s and you were a fan of He-Man, you will enjoy it. It is very kind of like tongue-in-cheek. They know what it is. There's a cameo from Dolph Lundgren. The guy they got to play He-Man was perfect. He had this just boyish kind of innocent charm about him. And when he gets his he's so the setup is that Skeletor is taking over Eternia. They send He-Man to Earth and the sort of power to Earth to protect them. And in the portal journey, he loses the sword, and then he's been searching for it. And of course, everybody thinks he's crazy because he's talking about being from somewhere else and draws pictures of all these weird creatures and says that they're real. But when he uses the sword for the first time and he says, by the power of Grayskull, I have the power. And he turns into He-Man the first time. There's a moment where he gets the full magical girl transformation bit, where, he gets lifted up in the air and his clothes change. He gets the whole 9 yards, just like in Sailor Moon, which I thought was awesome. And then he looks down and he's suddenly ripped. And of course, in real life, the guy's ripped and they put baggy clothes on him to hide his muscles. And he just goes, wow, when he looks down at his abs. And it was just so funny. And there's all these little kind of silly moments. They capture the feel of He-Man. And, kind of they know what it is. And they just struck the right tone. There's good action. It's really fun. And there's stuff that they pulled from the 80s movie or the toy line that wasn't in the original cartoon. It was just really fun. Opposite end of that is Obsession. So Obsession is the story of a young man who is in love with one of his best friends, and he gets this little wishbone thing. He buys it at the store, and there are suggestions that she kind of has a thing for him too, but he doesn't have the guts to ask her. And he chickens out asking her out. And he makes a wish on this thing he bought, not thinking it's real. Turns out the magic's real. And she suddenly becomes obsessed with him. And it goes through this whole progression of this weird obsession. And yeah, it's a dark, creepy movie. But it was really good, dark, creepy movie. Yeah, and he makes the wish because he doesn't think it's real. And then he's not a good person, though. The movie makes that clear. But yeah. Watched the new Supergirl movie. Really enjoyed that. It was fun. I know it's gotten a lot of hate on the internet, but it was. I think there were some of the best. I think there were spots where it felt like they left some of the good scenes on the editing room floor, either for time or studio interference. It is a woman story-driven action movie, though. And it was not great. Like, it's not high art is what I mean when I say it's not great. But it was a fun watch. It was really good. It felt like a superhero movie. Like, yeah. And then this week we finally watched The Killers of the Flower Moon, which is based on the true events in Oklahoma, where there was a conspiracy to kill Osage natives, to get their head rights for the oil that was found on their land, where they would marry the women and then poison them. And yeah, it was intense. I have now got 2 books about it on my to-read list. So yeah, it was really good. I know it's older, but it's a 3.5-hour movie. We had to find time to watch it. And it was good. And yeah, the lady that survived was an amazing human. Wow, it was rough. All right, for reading. So I read Radium Girls, which was about the radium dial painters that got cancer, and the company kept denying that it was anything to do with the radium, even when they knew it was. And then I listened to Gales of November, which was about the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald on Lake Superior. Yeah, Lake Superior, which until I moved to Minnesota, I had never heard of. I also learned reading this book that it is more dangerous to sail on the Great Lakes than it is to sail on the ocean. I was like, what? Apparently, it has to do with the fact that the salt in the ocean weighs down the water. So even in the same storm conditions, the waves don't get as big, but without the salt, the waves get much higher under the exact same conditions. And Lake Superior is the size of an inland. It's not really a lake. It's an inland sea. It's a freshwater inland sea. It's bigger than some inland seas, but it really struck home to me between reading Radium Girls and reading Gales of November that corporations have been screwing people over for years. When they made the ships, they made them not the most stable because they needed to fit them through the locks, so they needed to be long and thin, and they wanted to carry as much. It was kind of crazy. But it was very interesting to look at all the factors of what led to the Edmund Fitzgerald. But there had been a disastrous ship sinking many times, but the Edmund Fitzgerald is the one that struck home, that made them change things on the Great Lakes and how they did the shipping. So that's something. And then for a more uplifting read is I finished the most recent Dungeon Crawler Carl book, Parade of Horribles. So good. Some great fun scenes, some dark horribleness of corporations. They are making a live action Dungeon Crawler Carl TV show now. I really wish they'd gone animated, but Jeff Hayes, who does the audiobooks, will be voicing Princess Donut for the TV show. That just came out this week. That news just came out like yesterday. So, super excited. I will watch it for sure. Because Dungeon Crawler Carl. If you have not, I suggest you do. It is super fun. It will make you laugh. It will make you cry. It talks about issues in our society in a fun way. I'm just now getting Flosstube itchy nose. But that is all I have for you this week. I'm going to be hitting about an hour here. I sure can babble. I hope you have a great 2 weeks until I see you again. Let me know your favorite Fabric of the Month Club, how you found me. Please like, comment, subscribe, do all the stitchy things or all the YouTubey things, I have all my contact info listed below. I will list all the people I mentioned below. Let me know what you were working on while you watched. Maybe I'll find a new pattern that I can't resist buying. That's all I've got. Have a great 2 weeks. Stay safe. Try to stay cool in this heat wave hitting the US. Try to stay warm if you are in the southern hemisphere. And so long, and thanks for all the stitch. Bye.